In an amended civil complaint, Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, is now being accused of drugging and a 13-year-old girl after party following the 2000 Video Music Awards in New York City.
It's God's side and the other side. And we don't care nothing about the other side. Period. All of these big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
This morning, a legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. But the judge also chastising the lawyers representing Jay-Z, accusing them of trying to fast-track the judicial process by repeatedly filing motions to reveal the identity of the Jane Doe to have the case dismissed.
Jay-Z, the hip-hop icon and business mogul, is now making headlines for more than just his billion-dollar empire. Word on the street is that he's caught up in a major legal situation, and all eyes are on him. With the drama surrounding Diddy still fresh, Jay-Z's involvement in this case has added even more fuel to the fire. But here's where it gets wild. Katt Williams isn't holding back and just dropped some major heat on Jay-Z. Let's dive into what's really going on and why this could shake the industry. And for those who might not be up to speed, let's catch you up on what's been going down with Jay-Z.
Just last month, Jay-Z was named in a shocking civil lawsuit accusing him of assaulting a 13-year-old girl in 2000. The lawsuit, filed by Texas attorney Tony Buzbee on behalf of a woman known only as Jane Doe, claims that happened at an after-party for the 2000 MTV Video Music Awards. According to the suit, Jane Doe, who was trying to get into the award show, met a limo driver who worked for Sean Diddy Combs outside the award show. The driver allegedly told her she fit what Diddy was looking for and invited her to an after party. Once at the party, she claimed she was offered a drink that made her feel woozy and lightheaded, so she needed to lie down and went into a room to rest. She alleges shortly after, Combs and Carter came into the room, with Combs allegedly saying, "You are ready to party." She claims Carter removed her clothes and held her down and while Combs and an unnamed female celebrity watched. That female celebrity is only known in the suit as Celebrity B, and it's still unclear who that female celebrity is at this time. Now, Combs has long been the subject of multiple conduct lawsuits, which he has denied all the allegations made against him and has pleaded not guilty to the federal charges he still faces. Initially, when the suit was first filed, Carter's name wasn't attached, only referring to him as Celebrity A, but he since vehemently denied the allegation made against him. In Jay-Z's response, he had said that before the lawsuit was officially filed, Tony Buzbee, who is Jane Doe's attorney, had approached Jay-Z's team with a demand for a significant sum of money in exchange for not filing the lawsuit. In a statement posted to his Roc Nation social media account, Jay-Z said, quote, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Buzbee. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir, it had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against a minor should be locked away. Would you not agree? These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. This lawyer, who I have done a bit of research on, seems to have a pattern of these types of theatrics. I have no idea how you have come to be such a deplorable human, Mr. Buzbee, but I promise you, I have seen your kind many times over. I am more than prepared to deal with your type." Buzbee, however, denied that he was trying to extort Jay-Z, stating that he was engaging in a common pre-litigation practice where a lawyer sends a letter to resolve a case in an attempt to avoid a lawsuit.
Jay-Z, this presents a very difficult situation because unlike Sean Combs, Jay-Z doesn't have the opportunity to say that he's being charged criminally and that this civil case should be paused. Instead, this case could go forward and he would have to sit for depositions, argue, defend, show where his whereabouts were, and the light of day could be very damaging to him both in the court of law and the court of public opinion.
Jay-Z has been famously married to Beyonce for 16 years. They have 3 children together. Today, Jay-Z denying all allegations, saying in part, "My only heartbreak is for my family," adding, "These allegations are so heinous in nature that I implore you to file a criminal complaint, not a civil one. Whomever would commit such a crime against should be locked away. Would you not agree?" These alleged victims would deserve real justice if that were the case. His attorneys quickly taking his rebuttal to court, filing a motion to deny the accuser's request to remain anonymous or dismiss the lawsuit, calling it a cynical and calculated campaign to force payment of an exorbitant sum of money.
Jay-Z's legal team has been making moves to unmask Jane Doe, the anonymous plaintiff at the center of this case. While the court initially granted her the right to remain unnamed, there's a growing push to have her identity revealed. If successful, this could completely change the trajectory of the case.
In her ruling, she determined that Jane Doe can remain anonymous in her weighing of several key factors, including 1, whether the litigation involves matters that are highly sensitive and of a personal nature. 2, identification possesses a risk of retaliatory physical or mental harm to the party seeking to proceed anonymously, or even more critically, to innocent non-parties. Under number 4, whether the plaintiff is particularly vulnerable to the possible harms of disclosure, particularly in light of her age. Under number 7, whether the plaintiff's identity has thus far been kept confidential. While the judge acknowledged that keeping Jane Doe's identity anonymous could create challenges for the defendants in terms of gathering evidence, she ruled that the factors in favor of anonymity outweighed those against it, at least for now. The judge also clarified that the decision could be revisited at a later stage in the case. In addition to ruling in Jane Doe's favor, the judge also took a swipe at Jay-Z's attorneys, saying that they have, quote, submitted a litany of letters and motions attempting to impugn the character of plaintiff's lawyer, many of them expounding on the purported urgency of this case. Carter's lawyer's relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because counsel demands it. As the legal battle rages on, the outcome remains uncertain. But one thing is clear, Jay-Z's team is pulling out all the stops to get his name off that suit or toss it all together.
Jay-Z's legal team isn't stopping there. They've also been hard at work pointing out several inconsistencies in Jane Doe's allegations. From questioning the timeline of events to highlighting gaps in her claims, they're building a case that could potentially discredit her story.
This is not an account of inconsistencies. I wanted everybody to understand that this never happened. This is completely false. You have to look at the timeline. You have to look at the timeline. So there's an old expression that time doesn't lie. Everything else that I'm talking about, these glaring inconsistencies, these are not minor inconsistencies. These are not minor problems with this story. This is utter falsehoods. Time never lies. And so if you look at the time, no matter what, this couldn't have happened. It's not even possible that this happened.
Now, as you heard there, Jay-Z's attorney saying that these aren't just inconsistencies in Jane Doe's case. He's saying that the entire thing is false. In fact, he says it's not even possible that Jay-Z was there. Now, if we go back to Jane Doe's initial complaint, she alleges that she was both Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs at an after party for the MTV Video Music Awards in the year 2000. Now, this after party, she said, was held at a White House that was outside of the city. Well, Jay-Z's attorney actually showed photos of Jay-Z that night at an after party, but it was in New York City. So he says, if you look at the timeline, it's not possible that Jay-Z was in the suburbs at this alleged after party because he was photographed being somewhere else. Now, in her initial complaint, Jane Doe also said that she got to this alleged after party by getting into a limo from a driver outside of the MTV VMAs who said that they worked for Sean Combs. Well, today, Jay-Z's attorney is saying that's not possible because the limousine line was barricaded by the police and fans were not able to access it. Now, I reached out to Jane Doe's attorney. His name is Tony Busby. He says that he is representing over 120 accusers of Sean Diddy Combs. This is the first accuser to come forward and name Jay-Z, but he tells me that he stands by his client. He says that they are still vetting her, but when I asked about the vetting process, here's what he told me. He said that 4 individuals at his firm interviewed the client and checked details. He says that a background check was run on Jane Doe and that his firm actually engaged a seasoned investigator to vet some details she disclosed to us, and he said, quote, those results were consistent with what the client had told us. He also says that she has signed 2 separate affidavits, and he tells me, quote, courts exist to resolve factual disputes. Our client remains adamant about her claim.
We turn now to the latest on the allegations against Jay-Z, accused of 13-year-old girl with Sean Diddy Combs at an after party back in 2000. Both men have denied all wrongdoing. Jay-Z's attorney holding a closed-door meeting with select members of the media yesterday, insisting, quote, "This never happened."
And joining us now is ABC News contributor and attorney Brian Buckmeyer for more on this story. Good to see you, man.
Thanks for having me, guys.
So Jay-Z's attorney has outlined what he believes are inconsistencies in the accuser's account of what happened. Break it down for us.
Yeah, so the major pillars I would say would be location, witnesses, details, and timeline. Location being that this allegedly started off at Radio City, and according to the alleged accuser, she said that she was in the car for 20 minutes before getting to Sean Combs' house where the after party was hosted, to a large white house in a U-shaped driveway. Now, if you're from the New York area and you know where Radio City is, 20 minutes in any direction does not get you to that kind of real estate. And that's what the attorney is pointing out here. Witnesses. The accuser again says that she saw specific people at that after party, but people are saying, no, this person was touring. The witnesses, the alleged accuser's own father says, I don't remember picking her up after a 5-hour drive from Rochester to New York after this night. And then details. She's saying that she watched the show on the Jumbotron, where on the VMAs of that year, there was no Jumbotron, and the timeline as to how this all could have occurred, the attorney is saying it doesn't match up based on where people were at specific times.
I'm curious your thoughts, because Jay-Z's attorney met with select members of the media. It was a closed-door meeting. What do you make of this strategy?
Well, initially, where were we in this closed meeting? That's what my thoughts are, right? But I think it's smart because this is a situation where it's not only in the court of law, but also the court of public opinion. And I think Alex, the attorney, is really pushing back in the court of public opinion to try to help the court of law arguments, because when you look at the timeline, you look at the details, yeah, there are some inconsistencies.
And the accuser has acknowledged some inconsistencies in her story. So how often does something like this happen in a case like this?
When it comes to where it's he said, she said, because it's so far ago, we're talking about an incident that has allegedly happened September 7th of 2000. It comes down to just the credibility of individuals. And people have issues with memory. It makes sense. I don't remember what I did on September 7th of 2000. But when some of these inconsistencies just go against the idea of just like geography, timeline, a fact that a father didn't even remember this, that's where I think there's some real issues for Tony Busby and the accuser's claims.
It's got to be a big blow for the case.
I would imagine so, but these aren't legal filings. This is just maybe a precursor to that. So we have to see what Alex Spiro ends up filing in court and what the response is from the Tony Busby and the accuser and what the court decides.
When you look at the language from Jay-Z's attorney, it seems they're really trying to distance themselves from Diddy at this point. How important is that relationship between these two men?
It's everything. I mean, when I first thought about this, I thought to myself, what are all the sayings that we have just in our culture about guilt by association, show me who your friends are and I'll show you who you are, birds of a feather flock together. At this point, Sean Combs is toxic from a legal standpoint in terms of his association with all of these civil lawsuits and a federal criminal investigation. So if you're a close friend of his, especially in the period of time when these allegations existed, you're definitely going to be looked at under a microscope. And so what Alex Spiro is doing is saying, hey, yeah, they're close friends, we admit that, it's public knowledge, but that friendship stops when we get to this whole freak-off issues and sexual.
Trying to make that separation. Brian, thank you very much. We appreciate it and good to see you.
My pleasure.
Adding another twist to the saga, there are now claims that Jay-Z may have gone as far as paying people to turn against Tony Busby, the lawyer representing multiple accusers in high-profile cases, including those against Diddy. If true, this could signal a deliberate attempt to disrupt or discredit the legal proceedings.
This lawsuit would be filed and his reputation would be ruined. But now I have another lawsuit to talk to you about. This new lawsuit that was filed against Roc Nation by one of Busby's former clients. And this accuses the media company of allegedly trying to buy him off. So the lawsuit claims that Roc Nation paid people to impersonate officials, use fake badges, and offer money to people who agreed to file lawsuits against Busby's law firm. Again, now Jay-Z's #1 enemy. We got our hands on this complaint that was filed in Harris County, Texas, with a man named Gerardo Garcia as the plaintiff. And Garcia is a former client of the Busby firm who says he was approached at his home by some of these alleged bad actors. This lawsuit names multiple defendants, by the way. Marcy Bryan Croft, an attorney who works with Roc Nation, her law firm, MJ Legal, investigator Jessica Santiago, Roc Nation, and Quinn Emanuel, Urquhart and Sullivan. This is the law firm that represents Jay-Z, often just referred to as Quinn Emanuel. Now, the lawsuit begins, defendants have conspired to obstruct justice by engaging shadowy operatives to illegally seek out more than 24 current and former clients of the Busby law firm to convince those clients to bring frivolous cases against the Busby law firm. Defendant Roc Nation is financing the effort. Its attorneys, Marcy Croft and Quinn Emanuel, are orchestrating the effort. Quite the accusations. And the complaint accuses the defendants of basically committing barratry. It's a legal term you might not have heard before, but it's the act of encouraging someone to file frivolous lawsuits so that their attorney can make money. Well, Busby says several interactions between his former clients and these alleged bad actors were caught on tape. Yeah, in fact, Busby shared a photo on Instagram of these three men standing on a front stoop in a neighborhood. In the caption, he said, investigators from New York have contacted many of our law firm's current and former clients. These investigators aren't very smart. What they didn't anticipate was one of the clients decided to record the conversation. And the filing includes an alleged transcript of a conversation between Gerardo Garcia and Jessica Santiago, as well as affidavits from other former clients. They say that they were contacted and offered money if they would sue Busby's firm. Now, according to the transcript, Santiago wanted Garcia to sign what she called a contract to investigate, which she explained gave a private lawyer permission to look into Garcia's case and settlement. She also mentioned several times that she is from the state. The transcript reads, "It's a private lawyer. We are from the state, but it's a private lawyer that knows what the Busby law firm was doing. For example, last night someone signed up with us, and in his case, Busby was depositing his checks in Busby's private account and not in an account for lawyers, and he was charging the interest and taking the money. And he was stealing the checks from insurance. And so he didn't know that Busby was stealing. That was his case. Now, I don't know much about your case, but the lawyer you will speak with today, she will explain that she will open your case, see what happened to you, but your name appeared on the list of people that may have something unusual, and she wants to investigate your case, and then she will recommend someone familiar with your kind of case to recover all that money." The client then asks, "And they are from the state?" The PI replied, according to the transcript, "The lawyer is from here, Texas, and also has a license in New York. Us, the investigators, are from the state, but we are not lawyers." Now, Santiago reportedly goes on to claim that 70 people are involved in a class action lawsuit against Busby, and she allegedly tells Garcia that the lawyer she wants him to talk to is Marcy Croft from MJ Legal. Again, this is a private firm, but Croft reportedly does work with Roc Nation. Now, in the filing, Busby included a screenshot of one of Croft's posts on Instagram where she gave a shout out to Roc Nation and Jay-Z, saying she was proud to be a small part of a great team. Now, the filing also includes another alleged transcript of a recorded telephone conversation.
Katt Williams isn't exactly surprised by the spotlight now turning to Jay-Z. In fact, he's been vocal about this for a while, hinting that it was only a matter of time before Jay-Z found himself in the hot seat after Diddy. Known for calling out industry heavyweights without hesitation, Katt has been dropping breadcrumbs for years, suggesting there's more to these power players than meets the eye. And now, with Jay-Z at the center of fresh allegations, it seems like Katt's predictions are coming true.
Katt Williams just dropped an insane bombshell on Diddy, saying Diddy's wild freak-off footage is just the appetizer and Jay-Z might be the main course for the feds. According to Katt, the feds have hours and hours of freak-off footage that are horrifying, to say the least. And get this, he's claiming that Jay-Z is allegedly on the list. Now, Katt's been trying to warn us about Diddy for years, but nobody was listening. Well, guess what? They're listening now, because Katt is now claiming that Jay-Z is going down, and he is going down hard. So what's the deal with these so-called freak-off tapes? Katt's saying they're so shocking, they make Cassie's lawsuit look tame. But here's the kicker. It's not just Diddy on those tapes. Word is, there might be footage of Jay-Z that could change everything we thought we knew about hip-hop's power couple. Katt's dropping hints that Jay-Z might be caught up in all this mess too. Can you believe it?
Man, this is crazy stuff.
Katt Williams has never hesitated to speak out against industry giants like Diddy and Jay-Z. According to Katt, ever since he began calling them out, he feels as though he has been placed on a hit list. The pressure and fear have become so overwhelming that he claims he has gone to bed wearing Kevlar for protection.
And me and Ed were celebrating our birthdays that year for the Taurus Affair that we used to do in Miami Beach every year. And Katt was playing the amphitheater. And he wanted to meet me. And he came to my party. He gave me about 20 grand in cash and said, consider it a down payment on your time. And Moni Love was there. Cousin Sonny was there. Imrel was outside smoking a blunt, so she missed the infamous picture with all of us together with Katt. And me and him sitting next to each other, 2 hats on, 2 cats in the hat.
Yeah.
And he taught me so much in 9 months. Walking away was hard, but it was when the Illuminati first started coming after him. And I'll never forget the day when they breached the house. And I left. You know, back in that moment, Katt was still wearing Kevlar to bed. To bed. I would get in bed with him at night and he would have Kevlar on.
Wow.
In bed.
This story is far from over, and the twists just keep coming. With Katt Williams firing shots, Jay-Z fighting legal battles, and new allegations surfacing, the drama is only heating up. Stay tuned, because this is one saga you don't want to miss. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for all the updates. Trust me, there's more to come. Until then, keep it real, fam.